Hello and welcome to the Wordy Casual. Welcome back, and today we'll be continuing to play
Terraria!
Actually, we're playing Satisfactory, specifically Sandy Carlott's Part 2, continuing where I left off on my other video. Been rather slow putting it together, so my apologies there, although not a whole lot of people have watched it. Hopefully in the future that will change. We'll see. But for now, we're just going to pick up where we left off. I'm experimenting a little bit with this video in different ways to speed past the stuff that's boring. Since even on fast forward with 10 times speed, watching hand manufacturing just isn't fun. So I've actually put together several different ways of skipping through things on this video. Hopefully you'll find it a little bit more intriguing, concentrating more on the building and on the exploration than on the actual grunt work, because even the grunt work is on the boring side, isn't it?
Yes, and I'm also my dad's daughter.
Yes, that's my girl. Also, as you can tell from the screen, there is now a new update out. It's pedaled around long enough that update 4 has come out. So while there is the lovely new things that Coffee Stains put out, I do not actually have the factory up to the point where I can actually go over them. This is still paving the desert oriented rather than what came out on the new patch, even though we're in the new patch. Later on in the series, I'm sure we'll actually get to them. I personally look forward to the hover device and the drones, but it will take a little bit to get to that. So with no further ado, let's get into it. So a quick overview of the factory. You can actually see, looking around, don't have a lot built up over here. Most of my factory is actually built off on this direction over here with my concrete in that corner. And then here's the tower I built to show you that. And I actually got lucky. I usually have a real hard time getting down those ladders without falling. So I've put up walls here so I can actually protect where I go from the main level to the under level. As we peek under here, you can see I don't have a lot of the sand covered per se, but I've got a start going. I've got my couple of iron mines there, and basic production at the moment. Over here I've got my power generators that broke off the ones off of the hub because they're not quite as good. Got a temp set up here for refining biomass. And a zoom over here, and you can see this is where the miner pokes its head up a little bit, and I'm bringing up the ore over here between these two sites. Just merge them up and bring them in, fill up said container, and just split them off again to a couple of smelters and merge them back in so that we can actually fill up the iron container. And voila. And then I've still got several big holes, as you can tell here. And it just takes a lot of concrete to fill this stuff in, so it's been a slow go. Over here I've also got its head up just enough. Currently bringing the ore up and storing the ore, and I haven't actually built out dedicated smelters off for automated yet. I just slapped down a bench and hand hauling those over where I need. Down here we've actually got the concrete, and I'm doing it downstairs. I'm just bringing it up here for storage, which I'm probably going to make that the main thing, is to do basic refining on that first floor underneath, and the secondary refining on this floor. You can see under here I've got basic setup and equipment. So nothing real fancy. Just a single miner bringing in. Later on I'll actually go grab a couple other limestone and bring them into a crease. Magically bumped over in frozen time, so you can see up in that top corner is where I came from. And then a lot of what I've been doing is gathering everything, primarily because I need to actually have fuel. Fuel is important. And part of the reason I included this portion of the gathering is because I ran into the magic sticky tree. The deadly magic sticky tree. Right there. And I'm stuck. And I'm not in the tree. I'm next to the tree. You can see when I look down, you can see it. Currently I'm trying to jump, I'm trying to move left, move right, up, down, sideways, everything I can think of, and it's just completely stuck. And of course, when you're completely stuck like that, there's only one thing that you can do, and you just can't get out. And that's the lowly respawn. So I did as much as I could think of and then popped. And you can even see as I fall off, I was just stuck to the side of the tree. Weird bug. It was an entertaining one. And now normally I don't actually put run backs in, but in this particular case I left it in because I sped this up, but it's a real good show of exactly how far away that canyon is. And it's, you know, if you have just watched the other one, it might be more apparent, but if you haven't, I've actually pulled all of the vegetation off of all the easily reachable vegetation off this side until I got to this canyon over here, and then started heading down the canyon for processing. So again, just from the last video, you can see I pulled up a lot of material here. Coming down this way, and there's the deadly tree. Not much different than any other tree. It's one you can't remove, but it definitely got me stuck. So what can you do? So I just recovered, and then a few seconds later, just down the road, I got spit at. Running paws, spitting sounds. And, yep, my least favorite mob. I do not like these things. I can usually kill them, but especially at this stage where I've just got the level 1 zapper, they're really hard to kill. So, they're not my fan. I'm not their fans. Smacked it up in the head a couple times. Get me some alien guts going. And at least there was some terrain to avoid him. And then, after collecting lots of tasty biomass, if you notice the numbers, I've gotten 2,500 leaves, so jumped up by a couple thousand getting down the lake over here and ran into his little brother. So, used the terrain to my advantage to hide behind rocks and lure him in. And so, I'm actually reasonably good at killing these most of the time, but early game is really hard for me to do because I much prefer the longer reach of the sword rather than the hand poker. And of course the rifle is your friend. I like hitting these long range mobs with long range. But even when I don't have those, the sword is much preferred. But at this point I haven't actually got the space elevator, much less tier 3 or 4. So I was able to kill him off without too much fuss, and then head down this way. And of course, grab some more. Now, this part is actually in reverse. It's a cool segment, so I wanted to leave this in. And you can see where this is going, but it's in reverse and will wind up where I was just standing at that lake. I actually took a trip down, hit the lake, and followed it along, and it goes to a different area. Unfortunately, I lost the recording for that part. So what I did have was getting back over this way, which was obviously at night, but it actually looked pretty cool, so I wanted to actually go ahead and show this off. It's a nice piece of art. Again, showcasing the wonderful job that Coffee Stains has actually done on this. Sometimes it's actually really fun just to do something like this and move along and just to watch how nice this looks, especially the difference between night and day. I think they did an excellent job in setting up how the night actually looks. I'm very fond of the way that they did with the moons and such. It really kind of gives an alien planet feel to it. So, bravo to them. And then we're actually coming up on shore, and once I get on shore, we'll be able to actually turn on the light. And I don't have the extra footage for it, but a couple of coal areas in here, so this canyon will be one of the places I'll be getting coal from. There's actually two of them. I stuck a beacon right in the middle of them, so that make a good reminder as to where they are. And you can see from this is actually pretty well scrounged out. This is where that second alien was, and where I killed him over there. And while this is the end of the prepared footage that I have for this episode, instead of actually grabbing some more footage and continuing on, I'm going to go ahead and call this for the second one. I've got a lot more work actually plotted out for the third one, so we'll be advancing the concrete fairly significantly before I actually record the third one. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this one off and leave the rest for the next video. Please leave comments. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified when I actually put out a new video. A little bit of an encouragement and comments, and I'll be much more likely to upload a little bit faster. Thank you very much.